Welcome to another episode of Iniya Sandippu with Mrs. Jebaseeli Emmanuel. If you remember, we stopped with the family life. So here she is joining with us today, talking about the challenges that she had with the small children, having a full-time job. Definitely a nursing job is very, very demanding. So Akka, tell us, what are the challenges that you faced when you were continuing this profession?
When I moved to Chennai after my marriage, initially I was in a school of nursing as a principal, multipurpose health workers training school. Then they closed that, because I'm RH negative and I had abortion, I couldn't travel. I resigned my job and stayed at home when I became pregnant. Then later I went and took up another post in a school of nursing in Guild of Service, Chennai. That school they closed. I was looking for a job and I was praying. In fact, Apollo College of Nursing, they gave me appointment order without interviewing me. I was praying about it. I was not led by God at all to take up that responsibility. In fact, I had a dreams, saying that I will be posted in ICU suddenly. Then I realized this is not the right place to move. I had to say no to the authorities clearly. I was so confused. When I went to UESA office and I was expressing my view to Miss Prema Fen, she told me, if you are confused, better you write and inform them that you are not joining. So I didn't have any job at hand, but my husband wanted me to work. I wrote saying that I am not joining. Meantime, I got the interview from CGHS Chennai. And I just went. They asked me, first question was, you have never worked as a clinical nurse. You were working as a principal. How will you take up this responsibility? I said, I will do it. And they sent me the appointment order the very same day. That was shocking. That's how, when I went and inquired about the duty time, they said 7:30 to 1:30.
Okay.
And my husband was on different shifts. So this was apt for my family life. See how God has worked everything, in His time. And I didn't like government service, but because at that point of time, I had taken up enough responsibility, I felt, I will be able to spend time with the NFA activities.
So nice to know that, when one door is shut, for you it was like multiple doors, but God opened the right one for you. And definitely we have the peace which passes all understanding, but God works beautifully the things that He has planned for us. So how did you get introduced to ENFI? Who introduced this to you? And how did you start your involvement with this ministry?
Soon after my marriage, when we settled in Chennai, one evening suddenly Miss Prema Fen, USA staff worker, she came with Miss Lily Bonner, the then General Secretary of ENFI. They visited my house in the year 1987, May, and requesting me to take up the treasurer post. I didn't know what was ENFI. She said, you are a nurse, God has brought you here, we are in need of a person who will help us. We will help you, so please take up. My husband was sitting there, he said, you take up. Without knowing anything, I took up the responsibility as a treasurer. But then Sister Lily Bonner, in the year 1988, she resigned because of her age and she left. Then Sister Jessie Allen took up as General Secretary of ENFI, and I continued as a treasurer till 1995.
Okay.
That's how my involvement started.
So directly, I think responsibility was bestowed upon you.
Yes.
And that's how you got involved into ENFI, giving your all and being sold out for ENFI for all these long years. So tell us about the beginnings of this organization and how it has impacted the nurses all through these years. I think it's around 60 years since this organization has started.
Yes. As an organization, it has completed 60 years. Whereas the nurses ministry was started way back in 1950. An American nurse called Miss Becky Glancer, she was a nurse. She was a missionary nurse posted in India by Wet Mission to work among the student nurses. So she started Bible study among the student nurses in the hospital in Maharashtra, Pune. And she was doing the ministry. That point of time, Miss Lily Bonner, she was in Delhi. After her training, she was working in Delhi, and she resigned her job and joined for full-time work because God called her for the full-time ministry. She came to Pune and joined Becky Glancer in the work. But she came in the year 1958. She worked with her for about 1.5 years. Meantime, Becky became sick and she passed away all of a sudden, unexpectedly. Hardly 1.5 years Lily Bonner worked. But Lily Bonner continued the work that Becky started, to work among nurses. Being a nurse, she also had training in UBS, and she continued the ministry among nurses in Maharashtra initially. And this was going on at that time in Chennai, that is then Madras, Union Evangelical Students India, UESA General Secretary was one Mr. Chandapilla. He was a male nurse by himself. He had a burden for nurses to reach out nursing students because of their nature of training. No one was allowed to come out for the camps along with other students, college students. So he felt these nursing students they have to be catered separately. So he called for a consultative conference and called the nurses across India who had a burden to do the ministry among nurses. So many nurses who had a burden to serve nurses, they came for the consultative conference in Chennai, and at that point of time they decided that they will start a ministry for nursing students and nurses. And the ENFI was born at that time. That is in the year 1964 November. That was the birth of ENFI. It was born as a professional associate of UESA.
So God has used so many different people to bring this movement together. So what is the vision that still drives this ENFI till date? You know, for the last 60 years, you've been doing a great work among the nurses. So what is the vision that drives you today?
As I said earlier, ENFI was born in 1964 to unite all the Christian nurses who have accepted Jesus as their personal Lord and Savior to witness for Christ. Whereas the vision of ENFI goes like this: reach the unreached nurses in every state of India to witness for Christ, to teach them about the kingdom of God and the gospel of Jesus Christ.
It's beautiful to know that ENFI carries gospel on one hand and healing on the other hand, just like how Jesus did when he was on this earth. You know, he went around preaching the gospel, and not just that, he made sure that he met the physical needs of the people. So it's very beautiful to know that ENFI has streamlined the vision in such a way that it caters to the nurses as well as to the people in need. So what are the activities and the ministries of ENFI, and how does it reach the nurses?
To carry on the vision, we have the mission also. We have to fulfill the commandment of the Lord to preach the gospel to every nurse, that is through evangelism, and then to make them as disciples. We have discipleship programs, and to grow in the Lord as a disciple of Jesus Christ. And to carry on the vision of ENFI, we have the mission activities, and to inculcate spiritual value into the profession, we have saline program, saline taster program, where we teach them the biblical principles to apply in the practical nursing.
Okay, so it's very nice that, you know, it's like a custom curated one for the nurses. So how would you paint a picture of a typical ENFI gathering For example, like how does it start? What are the things that you say? Like you were talking about the saline program that you have for the nurses. So what are the activities when they come together? What do you do?
The basic unit is in the respective hospital or PHC or in the college where they study or work. So nurses, Christian nurses gather together for prayer and Bible study every week systematically, so that they learn the biblical principles to apply in their personal life, and also that will reflect in their professional area.
Yeah.
That's the basic unit. So then these units together join and form the city unit or state unit and then national unit. Here we have not only regular Bible study, we also have camps, seminars, retreats locally. Okay, and in like evangelistic camp, discipleship camp, to train them as leaders, we have leadership programs so that we can carry on the vision of ENFI in the days ahead. So different camps. At a national level, we have biennial conferences. You know, these things we encourage them to attend these camps and retreats to equip them and also to move in the ministry.
So if you think very academically, there are a lot of staff development programs, similar ways, you know, where they are able to keep updating themselves about what's happening around them, the developments in medicine and technology and things like that. But it is so nice that, you know, you have kept them in par with the spiritual life as well, empowering them through these spiritual fellowships. So what do you think is the unique need for a nurse to have a spiritual fellowship like this, and how does ENFI cater to this need?
Actually, nurses are encouraged through the Christian fellowship that they have. They share their problem, personal problem, the problems they face in the working places, and they pray together and discuss together, and they are helped by each other. Then that way, not only that, they inculcate spiritual values essential for good nursing, to witness for Christ in the professional area. Also, we help them to develop missionary interest to serve the Lord through the profession. So here, I find, sometimes it is challenging these days. Missionaries are not able to go to the field, whereas patients are coming in our hand. And when they are sick, when we, cater to them in a kind way, with compassionate heart, serve them, they could see Christ in us. And we are able to present the gospel also at times. Yes. And I can tell from my experience, when I was working with CGHS, it's a dispensary work. Once one director of atomic energy, one lady, retired lady, she came with cancer and she had severe pain. And after seeing the doctor, because of the pain, she was crying. I don't know what the doctor said. Then I called her inside the room and I asked her, she said, I have severe pain. The doctor scolded me, saying that you are an educated person, you should accept. Then I said, only one person can help you. Then she just blinked and she was staring at me. Then I said, that is Jesus Christ, He will be helping you. Because you know how to read, if you are interested, I can give you a book, you go through it. Then I asked her, can I pray for you? Because it's a government dispensary, I had my own limitation. I just closed the room and I prayed with her. And she took the book and went off. After a month, she came to see a doctor with fracture in her hand. So she was just sitting in front of the consultation room. I just asked her how she is. She just smiled. She said, after I started reading that book, I have peace in my mind and in my life. I just smiled, I left her, but I continued to pray for her. Then after a few months, her sister came running one day, crying. She said, "Na Mayanathila irundhu vandirukren." And she gave me a letter stating that her sister asked her to hand over it to me. When I opened the letter, the handwriting was bad, but it was mentioned, "Dear sister, thank you for showing me Jesus. I am sure I will be with Him when I leave the world. Thank you." She has written Saraswati. I still preserve that letter. And when I read the letter, I had tears in my eyes. I realized how many patients I had missed. Since then on, I started, with boldness, I started telling the gospel to patients, somehow convey it to them.
It's a beautiful story that you have narrated. It was very emotional, and I'm sure even people who are listening, probably you are having goosebumps listening to how a small prayer or a word or a tract can change the whole person's life. And it's nice to know that ENFI is transforming nurses to be Christ-like, not just, delivering the work that they're supposed to do, but they are doing it with Christ-likeness. So we are wrapping up another episode with this, and we will continue listening to her stories in the next episode. Thank you for staying with us.